Good morning, beloveds. You read that title, you gotta know today is an Ernest Holmes. I mean, really. That is definitely an Ernest Holmes title. Okay, so it is September 3rd. Our title is I Turn from Thought That Separates Me from God. I may have the title slightly wrong then. It's just really long. I turn from thought that separates me from God. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. And that is Psalm 23:4. Unhappy is he who mistakes the branch for the tree and the shadows for the substance. And that's the Talmud. We are told that we must gain a knowledge of that which cannot pass away. The Talmud says that unhappy conditions arise when we mistake shadow for substance. Even the valley of the shadow of death causes no fear when we arrive at the consciousness of the psalmist, who from the exaltation of his divine deliverance proclaimed, Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. This is the realization of the substantiality and the permanence of that which cannot change. We are ever renewed by the passage of the divine wisdom and love through our consciousness. The revitalizing, regenerative power of spirit flows from our consciousness into our physical organism and into every objective act when we give it free passage through our thought. Emerson admonishes us to get our bloated nothingness out of the way of the divine circuit. How wonderful to realize this possibility of non-resistance and non-burden. Let us learn to enter into our divine union with enthusiasm that our burdens may be rightly resolved. Today I turn from everything that is unlike good and gladly enter into that which is beautiful, enduring, and true. Silently I pass from less to more, from isolation to inclusion, from a sense of separation into that of oneness with God. And it is E.H., Ernest Holmes. So, bless you. Cat sneeze. I turn from the thought that separates me. Immediately I'm reminded, because yesterday we talked about the ego. And I made a comment, and it have been 2 days ago, I'm not sure. I talked about how our ego has a job. And when I read that Emerson line about bloated nothingness, that's exactly what I was reminded of, is the ego. Because when we let our ego drive, it gets us into all sorts of trouble. The ego should never be in the driver's seat. The ego should always be in the passenger seat, or in my case, I like to say backseat. Nobody likes a passenger seat driver. Nobody likes a backseat driver, because the backseat driver doesn't have all the information. Your ego does not have all the information. Your ego's one job is to preserve you. So it's like, yes, you have information, you have valuable information, but I cannot let you drive, because if I let my ego drive, then that is my bloated nothingness, because my ego does not take into account anybody or anything else. Whereas when we get the ego out of the way of the divine circuit, then the divine, when we allow it free passage through our mind, through all of our channels, then the divine does take into account all. The divine has all the information. So it does look at all of the life around us and go, well, how can I make this better? How can I make it better for everybody? The ego doesn't even care about necessarily making it better for you. And that's one of the things you got to remember about the ego, and why I can call it the bloated nothingness. Its job is to preserve you. It's not even necessarily to make your life better. All right? Because it doesn't have all the information. So if you want to get your bloated nothingness out of the way, that's where you want to start. You want to start with your ego. You want to placate your ego and say, yes, you have valuable information. You have a valuable job, but your job isn't to drive. Yes, I hear you. I understand. I will use the information wisely. You've done your job. Okay. You don't want to beat it up. Just don't let it drive. And so you want to let go of anything that is unlike God. So go back and look at the qualities of God. And what are the qualities of God? Well, peace, prosperity, happiness, joy, creativity, And you want to focus on those. I work in a health food store, and one of the things that we use is the system called Eat Right for Your Blood Type. And the best advice that I ever got about Eat Right for Your Blood Type, because he divides it up into beneficial, neutral, and avoid. Okay. The best advice that I ever got, and this was from somebody who used the system, is it's not so much about avoiding the avoids. It's about focusing on the beneficial. So I'm going to tell you that's the same thing here. It's what was the title? I turn from thought that separates me from good. Well, okay, if I'm turning from thought that separates me from good, then what am I focused on? Or good or God? I'm focused on the good. Okay, so it's not about avoiding the avoids, which is why when we talk about it's about the trend of your thoughts. It's not each individual thought. It's the trend of your thought. It's the trend of your thought. Good is the trend of your thought towards God. And I just hit my 10,000 steps because I'm so animated and talking. So I only had 100 steps to go. So that's what it is. It's about focusing on the beneficial. So you want to focus on the good, because where your attention goes is where your power goes. So we turn away. You know that sneaky little line that Jesus says about turn the other cheek? It's not because a lot of us growing up went, oh, well, if I turn the other cheek, it just means you're going to hit me on that one. It's not about that. It's turning to focus on what you want instead of what you don't want. That's the metaphysical lesson of turn the other cheek. Focus on what you want, not what you don't want. This is the same thing. This is what Ernest is always talking about. It's like focus on the good, focus on the God qualities. If you want to turn away from the thought that separates you from God, then what do you want to do? You want to turn towards the thoughts that bring you into alignment with God. That means focusing on good and creativity and joy and peace and harmony and all of those amazing qualities. It's not what you're giving up. It's what you're aiming for. It's not what you're giving up. It is what you are aiming for. And that's one of my favorite things about Science of Mind. It's like, because we turn away from that which does not serve us and focus on that which does, all of this naturally falls away. So it's good to know what we want. It's good to focus on what we want. And it's good to let that stuff just naturally fall away, because it doesn't serve us. It doesn't serve us. It doesn't serve the people, it doesn't serve the world. We are trying to create a world that works for everybody. Well, the divine will do that when we allow it free reign through us. And I know it's scary and it sounds like you're giving up control, but you're not. Okay. Your ego is telling you you're giving up control, and you're not. You are this beloved individualization of God. You're not giving up anything. What you're doing is expanding into who you are. And I know it sounds terrifying, but it's wonderful and amazing, and try it. And how do you try it? Well, by focusing on the good. That Emma has the best advice. Look for the good and praise it. I mean, if you can do that one thing, look for the good and praise it. And you start with the little ones or the big, that will turn your life around to focus on what is good. Because while you're focused on what is good, what is not good is fading into the background and probably fading away because you're not feeding it anymore. All right? Oh, Ernest, I love you. The substantiality and the permanence of that which cannot change. Oh, all right. He can get deep, and then I just go off in a completely different direction. Are you gonna leave? Foster's just like, I don't know that I want to be here anymore. All right, I'm looking to see if he's got anything. Did I miss anything? Because it's short. It's 2 paragraphs. Okay, so how wonderful to realize this possibility of non-resistance and non-burden. Let us learn to enter into our divine union with enthusiasm, that our burdens may be rightly resolved. And that's a fascinating turn of phrase, that our burdens may be rightly resolved. Because when we turn into God, when we become the divine channels that we are, then what we carry is no longer a burden, because we have all of the power we need to carry them. Our burdens will be rightly resolved because they won't be burdens anymore. Ugh. All right. Today I turn from anything that is unlike God, good, and gladly enter into that which is beautiful, enduring, and true. I think I need to edit the title because the title's not quite right. Silently I pass from less to more, from isolation to inclusion, from a sense of separation into that of oneness. All right. The revitalizing, regenerative power of spirit flows from our consciousness into our physical organism and into every objective act when we give a free passage through our mind. Okay, so the mission today, should you choose to accept it. That Emerson quote, to get our bloated nothingness out of the way. I mean, that's a heck of a mission, right? To get our bloated nothingness out of the way. But what I think, I've already explained what I think it means. I think what it means is check your ego. Your ego has a job. Check your ego. Get your bloated nothingness out of the way. Allow the divine to be the driver. And that's what you are. You are the divine. So allow your divine consciousness to be the driver. Get your bloated nothingness out of the way. So the mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to turn the other cheek. I know, I went a completely different direction. The mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to turn the other cheek, to focus on the good and allow that which is anything other than to naturally fall away. All right. That is the mission. And then the other one is the same mission I give you every day, which is to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself, whatever that looks like. We got up early, had a great day in the park. The Blue Jays weren't really interested in playing. The squirrels weren't either. But that is that loving, kind, compassionate thing that we do for ourselves, is to go to the park one day a week, and one, get in a good walk, and two, have some fun with the squirrels and the Blue Jays. When they come to play. I think the weather's got them a little nervous, and there was soccer tournaments in the park. So it's about self-care, but it's also about making sure you enjoy your life. And that going to the park is doing two things. Because I say, go for a walk, take a nap, whatever. It's about enjoying, having fun with the nature, playing with the squirrels and playing with the Blue Jays. But it's also good exercise. So, I'm doing two things at once there. It's all about self-care. And that is super important because you're a beloved child of God. Practice on yourself. Practice love, kindness, and compassion on yourself. You deserve your own love. You deserve your own kindness. You deserve your own compassion. All right. So practice on yourself. It also allows you to create a first response, a default setting, a habit. And it creates that bank of a little extra love, kindness, and compassion in your life. So when you meet people who need a little extra, you've got a little extra to share. All right. So yeah, practice. It makes permanent. Okay. That is when Jesse said that the first time, I was like, well, that's really cool. Practice makes permanent. So practice on yourself. All right. It can also, I have a limoncello cake in my fridge, and I just didn't feel good last night. I'm like, I am not going to waste this opportunity. I'm going to eat this another time. So when we do eat that, we are going to enjoy every minute of that. Okay. And that's what I'm talking about. That's also loving, kind, and compassionate with yourself. So, I think, yeah. Okay. So now's when I do the whole follow us on the social medias. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I am the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. So, and trust me, so I share much funnier stuff on the running Rev Ryan than I do, on the Creative Life, because I walk a line. Yeah, so there's that. I'm losing my mind. If you want to know what's going on with the center, please email info@creativelife.org, and that will get you on the constant contact. They're hot links. That way it'll take you right to what you need to get the information that you need to do whatever is going on. We always have book studies and classes going on. Sometimes we have occasional guest musicians, things like that. So it's a good time. All right. So have a great day, an amazing day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanting day, an awesome day, a Saturday. And since I do have cats, have a catter day. And all that means is I intend to spend a little extra time cuddling with my four-leggeds with fur. A good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day, because you are enough, just as you are. You are a beloved child of God, in whom God is well pleased and well represented. All right. You may be the only Bible some people read, so make it a good one. Okay. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you around 9 a.m. And then we will have an amazing service for you right here on Facebook Live, later to YouTube. Although, just a heads up, we are looking at streaming to multiple platforms soon. So, sneak peek. You heard it here first. Yeah, we're going to have that conversation tomorrow. So we may be coming to multiple platforms with some of the live streaming. All right. And if you haven't seen all the TikTok things, please go check those out. Between Neo and Danielle, they're doing an amazing job with the TikTok. So it's really cool. All right. Yeah, that's what I know. So take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time. And I'm going to put my glasses on really quick because I can see that I have a comment, but I can't read it. Oh, well, thank you too. I do it. It is, believe it or not, doing these live streams is part of my spiritual practice. And I have learned a lot in the 2.5 years that I've been doing them. So thank you for watching.